Hi all, I welcome you all in the next lecture of engineering thermodynamics, where today I will teach you the numerical problems based on the introduction chapter, where we have discussed about the various types of systems. You have been introduced about the basic definition of pure substance, phase, as well as you were given exposure to the dimensions and its types. The second chapter, there you have been given exposure about different kind of thermal equilibrium, temperature scales, and thermometry. So you have covered basically the fundamental two chapters of engineering thermodynamics. Today we are going to see some numerical problems based on those concepts. All right. So the main important topic was the pressure measurement. How to measure the pressure? So you have been given an exposure about different kind of manometers, where I mentioned there are two kind of manometers. One is called simply U2 manometer, which will measure the pressure at a single point, and there is another category which is called differential manometer, which will measure the pressure at two different locations in the fluid flow. All right. Then we have defined pressures also into three categories. One is called gauge pressure, vacuum pressure, absolute pressure. In most of the practical applications, the pressure which we actually consider, that will be called absolute pressure. So absolute pressure we measure with respect to the absolute vacuum as a reference. All right. So what is a gauge pressure basically? So all instruments that we are using for measuring the pressure will give us gauge pressure. Alright, so gauge pressure is the pressure above the atmospheric pressure. So if my pressure is below the atmospheric pressure, right, that will be considered as vacuum pressure. So if I want to convert the vacuum pressure into absolute pressure, I need to subtract it from atmospheric pressure to make it as absolute pressure. So if I want to convert the gauge pressure into the absolute pressure, I need to add the atmospheric pressure, because gauge pressure is above the atmospheric pressure. So when I'm measuring the gauge pressure, we our reference will be the atmospheric pressure. And you have been given an introduction about systems. So system can be defined as a certain quantity or a region in space. So when we are defining a system via a certain quantity, right, that means we are referring to the system of closed mass or fixed mass, and the system which is having a fixed mass, that is known as closed system. All right, when you are talking about certain region in space, that means it is an open system. So basically all engineering problems, right, that you are going to analyze are open systems, right, where you have to focus only on certain portion of the system and you have to analyze. So if there's an engine, right, engine will have various components. So each and every component, right, separately you can analyze and finally come to the conclusion that that is the performance of that particular engine. So no need to take a system as a bulk and you are going to analyze one by one, and one component you can consider and you can analyze. These all things got introduced. Then later on, the thermometry also have been given to you, right? So temperature is a degree of hotness, right? Somebody may sense it by using a device called thermometry. So though different temperature ranges, right, different kind of thermometers can be used. Right, for high temperature end application, we use the thermocouple, and pyrometers can be used, right, for high temperature measurement. For low temperature to mid means up to 600 degrees C, you can use mercury glass thermometer, ordinary platinum resistant thermometer. Thermometers can also be used for measuring the temperature. Right, and you will be introduced about the different kind of temperature scales, right, degree Celsius and Kelvin temperature scales, and Rankine and Reaumur scales were also discussed. So today we'll see some practical applications of it. So let's start our first problem with the simple U2 manometer. So I will be dictating the numerical problems. You can note down this in your notebook. All right. So the first problem that I am going to discuss is the pressure of gas in a pipeline is measured with a mercury manometer having one limb open to atmosphere. So this is the this red blue color, sorry, black color things you are seeing here. This is a mercury. The manometric fluid is filled here. One limb is open to the atmosphere, where atmospheric pressure is acting as P naught. Full stop. If the difference in the height of mercury in the two limbs is 562 mm. So this is the difference in mercury level. So this left limb mercury level is here, right limb mercury level is here. So this difference is given as 562 millimeter. Calculate the gas pressure. So we need to measure this pressure. All right. The barometer reads, I said barometer is a device or instrument which actually reads atmospheric pressure. So barometer reads 761 mm of mercury, comma, the acceleration due to gravity is 9.79 meter per second square and the density of mercury is 13,640 kilogram per meter cube, and you need to use these all data, right, to find out the pressure of this gas flowing through this. So I will be writing here what is basically given. So the first problem, given data, you can summarize here. So datum is basically given as 562 mm, right, and this mercury density of mercury, that is Hg, is given 13,640 kilogram per meter cube, which is also mentioned. Apart from that, barometer reading is given, right? Barometer reading is also given, which is given as 761 mm of mercury, Hg, right? And acceleration due to gravity is also given 9.79 meter per second square. So these all parameters are given, and we need to find out the pressure here, right? And this limb, right side limb is open to the atmosphere. So when we are writing the equation, right, the pressure exerted via this gas. So here gas is flowing. So pressure exerted by this gas, so we have to consider as a reference. So we are considering this line as a reference. So I can write the equation directly from here. So at this dotted line, pressure exerted by this gas is P, right, basically here. So if I say XX, right, so at XX section, I can write equation for left limb. Here nothing is there, is empty. So total pressure will be acting at this dotted line is P is equal to, here left side, if you this side, if you look at pressure due to this height, this is mercury basically. So rho of mercury and height of mercury into acceleration due to gravity plus additional pressure is acting because this limb is open, basically this is open, so that P naught is also acting. Now first part is what is P naught. P naught is atmospheric pressure, and this will be sensed by the barometer reading, which is given here 761 mm of mercury. Alright, and clearly stated this manometric fluid is also mercury. Alright, so mercury is manometric height is also given 562 mm. So you can substitute here, right, directly same equation, because this is also mercury. So same I can write here rho of mercury into Z, and this Z plus this P naught, when you are writing, this is also density of mercury into Z into this height, which is given 761 mm of mercury basically. So 761 mm can be written as 10 to the power minus 3 meter. Alright, so this is common basically in both. So you can say rho Hg into Z, and this Z is given 562. This can be written as 0.562 plus this can be written as 0.761. Alright, now what you need to do, you need to substitute the value of density of mercury, which is 13,640 kilogram per meter cube, and gravity Z you substitute here, you can get the things done. So now question is, which kind of pressure it is? We are adding the atmospheric pressure with this. So this is basically absolute pressure that you are going to calculate. So substitute the value of density of mercury 13,640 here, and acceleration due to gravity 9.79 here, and multiply this. Directly you can get the pressure reading, right? which is I will be writing here. So pressure of gas, basically the answer is coming directly. I am giving you the answer of it. You can substitute the value and you can get the things done. So it is coming around 177 kilopascal. So final answer is 177 kilopascal. So this is the pressure, right, exerted by this gas in this pipe. So easily you can calculate. So this is the first problem and very simple, problem based on manometer. So let's go for second problem. So I'm erasing this. Now I'm dictating the second problem. Then we'll start with. So second problem is a turbine is supplied with steam at a gauge pressure of 1.4 megapascal. So when I'm dictating it now, parallelly I will be writing what is given. All right, so it will be easy for us to understand the things. So I will be writing here. So this is over. So second problem, what is given? All right. So second problem is saying that turbine is supplied with a steam at a gauge pressure. Right. So P gauge is given. It is around 1.4 megapascal. After expansion in the turbine, the steam flows into condenser, which is maintained at vacuum of 710 mm. So condenser outlet is mentioned as 710 mm Hg vacuum. So the pressure in condenser is mentioned as 710 mm of mercury. The barometric pressure, right? Barometric pressure is mentioned as 772 mm Hg. Alright. Express the inlet and exhaust steam pressures in Pascal absolute. Take the density of mercury 13.6 10 to power 3 kilogram per meter cube. So this is the inlet pressure basically to turbine. Inlet to turbine is happening at gauge pressure 1.4. Again I am repeating, a turbine is supplied with the steam at gauge pressure of 1.4 megapascal. After expansion in the turbine, the steam flows into the condenser which is maintained at vacuum 710 mm of Hg. Barometric pressure is 772 mm of Hg. Express the inlet and exhaust steam pressures in pascals absolute. Take the density of mercury as 13.6 10 to power 3 kilogram per meter cube. So this is again a very simple problem, right, where two conditions are given: inlet to turbine and condenser outlet. This pressure is also given. So these two pressures need to be converted into the absolute pressure. So how will you convert? With the help of atmospheric pressure, right? So the inlet pressure, so we can say P absolute is equal to gauge pressure, right? So P gauge plus P atmospheric, right? Usually we write this will become absolute. So atmospheric pressure I will get from barometric pressure, right, which is given here, and gauge pressure is given here. So gauge pressure, you no need to do anything. This is 1.4 megapascal. I will write in pascal. So 1.4 10 to the power 6 plus atmospheric is given in mmFC. So I can write density of mercury Z and H. This is 0.772. So substitute the value of density of mercury which is given here, and G always you assume 9.81 meter per second square. So use this value and use this value here and write P absolute right at entry. You will get the value. So I will give you a direct value which is coming around 1.503 megapascal, right? So if you calculate that, you will get 1.503 megapascal final answer. or somebody will have a problem in unit conversion. So I will give the direct value which is coming around 15.03, 15 and 10 to the power 5, 15.03 10 to the power 5 Pascal. This is the answer, or megapascal. This is the inlet condition. Inlet pressure is mentioned like that. Now outlet, if you look at this vacuum, so what will you do for vacuum? Vacuum need to be subtracted from atmospheric, right? Then only you get absolute. So inlet is over, right? Now I am going for outlet. Outlet condition. So if you are writing about outlet condition P absolute, that will be nothing but P atmospheric minus P vacuum. Vacuum pressure is given, right? So basically, yes, so vacuum pressure at condenser was given around 710 mmSg. So I can say here rho f Sg Z atmospheric is given as 772 minus 710 and 10 to the power minus 3. Why this minus 3? This is an mm. So now substitute the value of density of mercury and Z, and this complete thing you can get now absolute pressure at outlet from the condenser, right, which is directly you can get, which is coming around 0.827 and 10 to the power 4 Pascal. So this is the answer for outlet pressure, and this was the answer for inlet pressure for the steam, right? So like that you can solve the problem. So I don't think so there will be any doubt in this numerical problem. So let's go for the third numerical problem. So these two numerical problems got solved. Inlet condition, this is the outlet condition. Let's go for third numerical problem. So third numerical problem says convert the following readings of pressure to kilopascal, right? Is asking convert the following readings of pressure to kilopascal, assuming barometric reading is 760 mm of mercury. So keep in mind barometer reads is given as 760 mm of Sg, and you need to convert whatever pressure I am mentioning here, pressure to kilopascal absolute, right? Absolute pressure you need to calculate. So I am writing the first condition, which is given as 40 centimeter Hg vacuum. Second condition I am mentioning 90 centimeter Hg gauge, and third condition I am mentioning 1.2 meter of H2O gauge. So these three pressures need to be converted into absolute pressure. So these two easily you can do, because in previous numerical problem I mentioned gauge pressure. If you are going to convert into the absolute, you need to add the atmospheric pressure. If you are going to convert the vacuum pressure into the absolute, you have to subtract it from the atmospheric pressure, and last one is in H2O, so that need to be written in Pascal, then you can add. So first and foremost part is you need to find out the atmospheric pressure. So P atmospheric pressure need to be calculated. Easily you can calculate density of mercury Z, and Z is 0.76. So density of mercury you need to remember 13,000 in most of the cases, 600 into 9.81 into 0.76. So you can calculate in Pascal. Use your calculator and substitute the value, right? So you will get this around 101.325 Pascal. So this is very easy, 101.325 kilopascal. This value is coming like this. Now I know the atmospheric pressure. I can go with first part A, which is given 40 centimeter Hg vacuum, right? This is what mm vacuum. So vacuum means I need to subtract from here and here. I need to subtract from atmospheric. So P absolute in this case I can write directly rho of Sg into Z, this will become meter as 0.76, right? If I want to write this in meter, 0.4, so I can write here 13,600 into 9.81 multiply by, if you subtract this, 0.36, right? This is 0.36. So whatever value you are getting from here, that is called absolute. In the part A, it is coming around 48 kilopascal. So first answer is 48 kilopascal. If you substitute these all values, you will get 48 kilopascal in part A. Similarly, go for part B. This is very simple, right? Is the gauge pressure. So I can write here. So part B, P absolute, I will write rho of Hg into Z. This was 760.76 plus this 90 centimeters of 0.9. So substitute again these values here. You can get the P absolute in part B as well, which is coming around 120, is coming around 221.325. 221.325 kilopascal. This is the answer for second part. That's 90 centimeter of Hg. Now go for this 1.2 meter of H2O gauge. So you can calculate this in Pascal. Atmospheric pressure already you calculate in Pascal. You can add that. So in part C, I can say P absolute is equal to rho of water, right? That is 1000 into Z into Z, 1.2 meter. That's clearly given. So 1.2 plus this value that already you calculated, 101.325 kilopascal. Keep in mind when you're writing this, divide this also by 1000. So this will also become kilopascal. Clear? So density of water is 1000. So G into 1.2, and this value if you add, you will get a part C answer also in absolute pressure. So P absolute in this case also can be calculated, which is coming around 113.09 kilopascal. Alright, this is the answer, 0.09. Yes, next digit is 7. So this is the absolute pressure in the case of 1.2 meter of H2O. Clear? So I don't think so there should be any problem in converting this pressure. So firstly we can go for the next numerical problem. So I will not be solving that many problems, so I will give you one more problem, the simplest case. Okay, so the same problem I will modify here. So now this became 50, and here also something is filled, right? So this is 50 centimeter, this is 3 centimeter. So 50 centimeter, and this is basically 3 centimeter, and this is the different fluid, and here this is the different fluid. Keep in mind, up to this difference line, this fluid is different up to here, and this fluid manometric is different. So I will mention what are those different fluids. The pressure of steam flowing in a pipeline as measured with a mercury manometer. So this is basically mercury. This one before this dotted line up to here is mercury. As shown in figure, some steam condenses into the water. So this was the steam basically. Here steam is flowing, right? It is going here. Steam is flowing here. It is going. So this is the fourth numerical problem. And some of part of this got condensed, it is filled here, right over this dotted line. So this is basically steam, right? It's filled here. So it got converted into water. So basically this is a water, right? Water which is filled here for 3 centimeter height. Estimate the steam pressure in kilopascal. Take the density of mercury 30,600. Density of water is 1000 kilogram per meter cube, and barometer reading is given as 761, right? So P barometer or barometer reading given 761 mm of mercury, which is also given, and accelerated due to gravity is g 9.81, that is also given. So g 9.81 meter per second square, this is also given. All right, so what I need to do now, so what I will do, I will apply the pressure equation both side. So I can write the equation here. Focus over this left limb, right over this x-axis, right? So I can write P of gas that need to be calculated plus pressure due to this water, right, which is filled for 3 centimeter. So density of H2O into Z into H is 3 centimeter. So 3 centimeter in meter, I will write 0.03, right? This is this side. Now on the same reference line, I will write this side also this pressure, that is equal to, this is density of mercury Z into 50 centimeter, that is 0.5 meter, plus atmospheric pressure, which is 761 mm Sg, that is again rho Hg into Z and 0.761. Now density of mercury is 13,600, that you know. Density of water 1000, that you know. You substitute the value here and cross solve this, you can get the gas pressure. So I will write here. So P of gas can be written as density of mercury into Z, and these two terms you can add. So 0.5 plus 0.761 minus this term will go this side, rho of H2O into Z into 0.03. Just substitute the value. Density of mercury 13,600, this is 1000. You solve this, you will get P gas in absolute, right? So this is coming around, P of gas is coming around 167.87 kilopascal. This is the final answer that you will get out of it. So this kind of problem can be solved. So left limb one equation, right limb another equation, equated, you will get the gas pressure. So this is these are the problems from the basically first chapter. Now I will go to the second chapter. Roughly I will solve some 2 or 3 problems right from the temperature scale. So take the first problem. A platinum resistance thermometer has a resistance of 2.8 ohm at 0 degree Celsius, right? So at 0 degree Celsius your resistance is given, so I will represent that R0, which is given as 2.8 ohm, right? A platinum resistance thermometer has a resistance of 2.8 ohm at 0 degree Celsius and 3.8 ohm at 100 degree Celsius. So R100 is given as 3.8 ohm. Calculate the temperature when resistance indicated is, so RT is given as 5.8 ohm and we need to calculate corresponding temperature, right? For platinum resistance a thermometer we need to calculate. This is the first problem based on that. So for platinum resistance thermometer there is one empirical relation that need to follow, that is said as RT is equal to R naught 1 plus alpha T, where alpha is constant, we need to be calculated, So the same equation which I have written here can be utilized for R100. R naught is given, so at R100 I can write R100 is equal to R naught 1 plus alpha into T, that is 100 degree Celsius. So R naught and R100 are given, so I can get alpha out of this. So 3.8 is equal to 2.8 1 plus 100 alpha, so I can get alpha out of it. So just solve this. 3.8 divided by 2.8, you can get around 0.357 10 to the power minus 2. This is the value of alpha, coefficient of expansion of that wire. So the moment I got this alpha, right, I can again use the same equation, right, to find out this temperature at RT, right? First I used R100, that is R naught 1 plus alpha 100, I got alpha value. Again resubmit this value here, so I am erasing this. So RT is given as 5.8 is equal to R naught, which is 2.8, 1 plus whatever alpha you got 0.375 10 to the power minus 2 into T. This T need to be calculated. 0.357 was, sorry, this is 0.357 10 to the power minus 2. So T can be calculated out of this. Corresponding T is coming around 300 degrees C. That's all. So like that you can solve for platinum resistance thermometer. So this is the first problem. Now take the second problem. This is also very important problem, and several times they have asked, right? The temperature small t on a thermometric scale is defined in the terms of property capital K, right, by a relationship. By a relationship which is given as small t is equal to a ln of k plus small b, where small a and small b are constants. The value of k are found to be 1.83 and 6.78 at the ice point and steam point, right? So I am writing here 1 point k is equal to 1.83, that is at ice point, right, and k is equal to 6.78, that is at steam point. All right. The temperatures of which are assigned the number 0 and 100 degrees Celsius respectively determine the temperature corresponding to a reading of K equal to 2.42 on the thermometer. So we need to find out at 2.42 temperature we need to find out, and this ice point and steam point temperature, alright, K values are given. So ice point is 0 degrees Celsius, steam point is 100 degrees Celsius. These three things are given, alright, and at this we need to calculate the temperature. So use the same equation, this one here, because we don't know the constants A, B, and that need to be calculated. So first I will use at ice point, right? At ice point this is 0 at ice point. The same equation can be used. 0 is equal to A ln of K is 1.83 plus B. This is equation number 1. So at a steam point this is 100 is equal to A ln this is 6.78 plus B. This is equation number 2. I know these two equations. Now I will solve these two equations to get constants. So subtracting equation number 1 from 2. So if I write 2 minus 1, right, I can say 100 is equal to A ln of 6.78 and ln of 1.83. This is in bracket, and B and B is 0. So this term can be written as A ln of 6.78 divided by 1.83. Can I write like this? And this is 100, right? So I can now calculate A, because this is a ln 6.78 divided by 1.83. Use your calculator, get the value of A. This is 100, right? So I can write here, I can write here, here I'll write here. So A value you can calculate from here. This is ln 6.78 divided by 1.3. You can get ln from calculator. A value can be calculated. So A value basically is coming around 76.35. So this is the constant A value. Now substituting this A value in equation number 1. Alright. Substituting this value in equation number 1. So 0 is equal to 76.35 ln of 1.83 plus B. So B can be calculated. So minus 76.35 into ln of 1.83. Calculate. You will get B value also in negative. This is minus 46. 0.143. So you got now A value and B value, right? So now I can use this A and B value here. I can write one equation of T. So T is equal to A value is 76.35 ln of K minus 46.143. This is the final equation. Now he is asking at K is equal to 2.42, what is the T, right? So you substitute this value. So at K is equal to 2.42, I can get T 76.35 ln of 2.42 minus 46.14. Solve this, you will get T. Solve this, you will get T. So T is coming around 21.33 degrees C. Clear? T you can get like this. So this is the second problem of thermometry, like that you can solve. All right. Okay, so I am now erasing. So now we'll go for the third problem in the series of thermometry. Firstly, we need to solve. So man problem I will be solving here. I will not go for all. So next problem is a new scale, capital N of temperature is divided in such a way that the freezing point of ice is 100 degree Newton. So that is a new scale. This I will say this is a new scale, and one Celsius scale, degree Celsius scale is here. This is a new scale. So always we use to fix the point, right? So it is said, it is saying like a new scale of temperature is divided in such a way that freezing point of ice is 100 degree. So I will say freezing point, this one is 100 degree Newton. This is basically freezing point, right? This is given here, and boiling point is 400. This is boiling point, is given 400 degree Newton. This is 100 Newton, that is 400 Newton. What is the temperature reading at this scale when temperature is 150 degrees Celsius? So it is asking when there is 150 degrees Celsius, right, somewhere. So in this case it is 100 degree, right, degree Celsius. This is 0 degree Celsius. So it's asking at T is equal to 150 degrees C, what is N? That's the one part. All right. Second part, at what temperature both the Celsius and the new temperature scale readings would be the same, right? Would be the same. Again, shall I repeat? A new scale, capital N of temperature is divided in such a way that the freezing point of ice is 100 degree Newton and the boiling point is 400 degree Newton. What is the temperature reading on this new scale when the temperature is 150 degrees Celsius? First part, at what temperature both the Celsius and the new temperature scale readings would be the same, that you need to calculate. So how to do that? This is a very simple problem, right? Only we have to analyze the things. So the first part of it, is asking first part, at this temperature what is N, what is N. So I know this 150 degrees Celsius, so I will be using at Celsius scale as 150 minus freezing point divided by boiling point minus freezing point. This I have written for Celsius scale. I have written this, but I do not know what is the value here at 150. So N value I am assuming N only. So N minus, what is the freezing point here? 100 divided by boiling minus freezing. This is for new scale I have written. So I know at 150 degrees Celsius I need to find out the temperature on new scale. So 150 minus freezing point, I say the freezing point is my first reference point. right? So 150 minus 0 divided by boiling minus 0. This I have written for Celsius scale. This is for new scale. At new scale, let's suppose capital N is the value of temperature corresponding to 150 degrees Celsius on Celsius. So N minus 100. Why 100? This freezing point is 100 here. Then boiling point is 400 minus 100. So just solve this, right? And get the value done. So this is 150 divided by 100 is equal to N minus 100 divided by 300. So this and this cancel out. You can solve this. 150, sorry, 450 is equal to N minus 100. So you can get, so 100 will come this side, so you can get 550 degree N. So corresponding to 150 degrees Celsius, the temperature on the new scale is 550 degree N. This is the first part that is over. Now it is asking at what temperature both these scales, Celsius and this new scale, would be the same. That also we are going to find it out. So let's suppose let at N is equal to C is equal to X, right? They are the same. Means these both scales are the same. At N is equal to C is equal to X. So degree C, degree N. So I know N. So degree N minus again freezing point 100 divided by boiling and freezing. This is for N scale is equal to C minus 0 divided by 100 minus 0. Right, this for Celsius. I know N and C both are X. So I can substitute here. X minus 100 divided by 300 is equal to this again X divided by 100. Just solve this. So 3x is equal to X minus 100. So you can get X, that is minus 50 degrees C. So at 50 degrees Celsius, minus 50 degrees Celsius, both new as well as Celsius scale would read the same readings, right? Would read the same reading. So this is the second part. This is the first part of it. So I'm closing my discussion here. So we have solved around 4 problems for second chapter and around 4 problems for first chapter. This much is enough. So I have covered all sort of problems, all right, that is possible from these 2 chapters. So in next class I will be starting the work and heat transfer, right? That is your third chapter of the engineering thermodynamics, right? So go through it. Still, if you are having any doubt in these problems, feel free to write in the comment section. Thank you for listening me. Have a nice day. Good day.